Many of you have already heard the powerful story of young Manuel Fodera, who was recently declared a servant of God, the first step towards sainthood. But what makes his story so striking is not only his suffering, but the extraordinary love he had for Jesus in the Holy Eucharist. From the lips of a child, we are reminded of a truth many have forgotten, that in Holy Communion, we are not receiving a symbol, but Jesus himself. And in a time when so many treat this sacred mystery casually, Manuel's life calls us back to reverence, silence, and love. Manuel Fodera was just like any other normal child, but his way of the cross began in June 2005. At only 4 years old, he suffered severe pain in his right leg. Days later, at the hospital of Palermo in Italy, he was diagnosed with a terrible cancer. What followed was a journey filled with deep suffering, yet also a mysterious and radiant joy, because Manuel began to experience Jesus speaking to him like a close friend. After surgery and chemotherapy, he initially longed to return to school and play, even crying because he could not. But over time, something changed. He accepted his suffering with patience and peace. This was where his love for Jesus began to deepen. Before every treatment, Manuel would go to the chapel because he wanted to see Jesus. Being close to him filled him with happiness because he desired above all to be Jesus' closest friend. Later that summer, he returned home to recover with his family. Even in moments of rest, his heart remained fixed on prayer. After playing, he would ask everyone to pray the rosary because the Hail Marys brought him comfort. In pain, he would ask for it to be prayed because it made the pain go away. In fear, because it gave him strength and peace. As time passed, Our Lady became more alive to him, and his love for her grew stronger each day. While in the hospital, the chaplain would bring communion to his mother. Manuel longed to receive Jesus too, but he was told he was too young. Yet, because of his persistence, his spiritual maturity, and his grave condition, the Bishop of Trapani granted permission. On October 13, 2007, he received his first communion. That morning, however, he was in terrible pain and feared he would not make it to the chapel. But by noon, the pain suddenly disappeared. Manuel said that Our Lady had healed him. The Mass was filled with reverence and love, and afterward, he wrote, "I want to receive Jesus in my heart so that he can become my best friend forever. He will be my strength, my joy, my cure." He explained to others that he wanted to receive Jesus so young simply because he desired him in his heart. But what he said next deeply moved even adults in the faith. Can you please tell your priest to accustom everyone to at least 5 minutes of silence to be able to speak and listen to Jesus in their hearts? Think of the last person who takes communion. He doesn't even have time to say hello to Jesus. Dear friends, I want to talk to you about how Jesus is present in the Eucharist. He lets himself be seen and felt in Holy Communion. You don't believe it? Try to concentrate without getting distracted. Close your eyes, pray, and speak because Jesus will listen to you and speak to your heart. Don't open your eyes right away because this communication will be interrupted and it won't come back. Learn to be in silence and something wonderful will happen, a balm of grace. If you are sick, He will give you the strength to endure all suffering. If you are sad, He will give you the strength to smile. If you are bored, He will give you the joy of Him. If you are full of anger and nervous, He will give you the strength to calm down. All this will only happen if you trust in Him, because He loves you so much more than you can love Him. With love, Manuel. After one communion, Manuel asked Jesus what gift he could give him for Christmas, and Jesus answered, "Always show my joy to others. Be a warrior of light in the midst of darkness." In June of 2008, he traveled to Lourdes. One evening, while praying the rosary, he offered a decade for blind children. No one understood why, but later, it was discovered that a blind child from another group had regained sight. In August of that same year, Manuel received confirmation, and the grace he received only deepened his joy. The Eucharist, which he called a balm of grace, made his suffering appear filled with light. When asked if Jesus spoke to him like an apparition, Manuel explained that he heard him in his heart. After one communion, Jesus said to him, "Manuel, your heart is not your own, it's mine, and I live in you." When he asked what this meant, the only explanation given was the words of St. Paul, "Yet I live, no longer I, but Christ lives in me." Jesus gave me suffering because he needs suffering united to him to save the world. Jesus called me warrior of light to conquer the evil and darkness of the world. Mom, are there really people who don't love Jesus? We should bring the greatest possible number of souls to him. To love Jesus, you should pray a lot, work hard, study, and offer sacrifices to him. Example, you don't want to eat pasta with zucchini, but you eat it anyway and offer it up out of love for Jesus. Even as his body weakened, people were drawn to the peace and joy he radiated. Priests who visited him would hear him say, "I love you, I pray for you." Take Jesus to children, to those who suffer, to the sick. Take Jesus to everyone you meet. Tell your priest to remind the faithful that they always have to receive Jesus in a state of grace, without sin, and afterwards to always spend at least 15 minutes giving thanks. Jesus is very great. He's God and has to be treated like God. Though he was urged to take painkillers, Manuel once said, "I want to wait a little longer before I take medicine, because Jesus needs my suffering to save souls." On June 21st, 2010, he celebrated his final birthday and said, "Jesus let me see paradise, and it's a wonderful place, a beautiful banquet prepared by Jesus. Jesus told me that I would die when I was 9, and that now I should suffer a little for him. Afterwards, I will appear to Mom and my loved ones, and I will be touched and embraced by them." In his final days, his heart continued to beat longer than expected, as if offering every last moment for others. He instructed his mother that on the day of his death, he should wear his first communion suit and rest his head on a Bible open to Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 14. "Heal me, Lord, that I may be healed. Save me, that I may be saved, for you are my praise." He asked that no one cry, but that they remain in prayer, because his funeral would be a celebration of the feast he was about to enter in heaven. On July the 20th, his final day on earth, he lay holding his rosary. Mass was celebrated in his room. After receiving communion, he whispered, "I have finished." And 2 months before his death, in the midst of great suffering, he told his mother, "You're my only true witness. You'll have to write a lot of books about me, so that everyone can come to know my story." Servant of God, Manuel Fodera, pray for us.